Good morning, Cresivo community. Welcome to the live stream where I stream live, go over your questions, talk all about options, selling puts, selling covered calls in order to create yourself weekly income. Weekly income is the best thing. Like, who wants to wait a whole month to get paid? Like, I want to get paid today, this week, so I can go do fun stuff. It's way better than selling stocks, way better than selling monthly contracts. I mean, there is a fit perhaps for some people to sell monthly contracts, but I'm a big weekly believer. And I also really like the tickers that offer 3-time-a-week contracts, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. A lot of the Mag 7 stocks have that, like Tesla, Amazon, that sort of thing. And as time has gone on, the market is just becoming, it's reacting to what people are looking for, to what people want, right? What traders want. And 3 times a week gives you that much more flexibility. So I can sell a call, or a put rather, for Monday or Friday, and I can just flip my money over and over again. And the advantage of flipping your money over and over again is because you get to lock in your gains. I want to take a minute and talk about that. It's so important for you guys to understand the difference between realized gains and losses and unrealized gains and losses. Realized gains and losses is cash that you put into your pocket. And most importantly, like when you close a position, you have no more risk on that ticker, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say I sell a put on Palantir, right? I don't know. That's the first name that popped into my head. I sell a put on Palantir. I collect the premium, and then I buy the contract back. Let's say instead of waiting until it expires, I buy the contract back. I recognize that gain that's in my account, and now there's no more risk. So if Palantir dropped to 0, it does not affect me. So it's so important to lock in your gains as you go. And here's the thing, like, when you're just a stock trader or you're trading like long-term, like long-term contracts, longer than a week contract, you're like subjected to those ups and downs of the market. Why would you knowingly, on purpose, intentionally subject yourself to all those, gyrations of the market when you don't have to? Like, listen, it's hard to make money in the market, and you want to lock it in as it goes because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. That's my point, right? Like, what happens if, I don't know, war breaks out tomorrow and the market goes down? Like, won't I be glad that I locked in gains as I went along? So that's super important. So today, we're not going to go over my account. So all of these sessions over the past, I don't know how long I've been doing this for. I don't know, maybe 2 months now. These particular sessions, I was using that test account with Alpaca. Let me just pull that up here. This test account. And then as time went on, I realized that Alpaca does not offer the ability for you to designate a lot. And that is so important. I had some naysayers in comments, and I appreciate the comments. Listen, I like the dialogue back and forth because it makes everybody more engaged. And really, sometimes we don't know what we don't know until we know it, right? So I appreciate the dialogue. But from that dialogue, like there's people out there for some reason that think that that's not important. And I want to take a minute and talk about the importance of that. If I have shares that I bought at different prices, I'm just going to use this as an example. This was my SMCI position. If I have 300 shares that I bought and my average cost for all 300 shares is $40, it's important to know that. Okay, I have 300 shares and that's my average basis. But what's more important is how much did I buy those shares for? I bought 100 shares at $47. I bought 100 shares at $45. And I bought 100 shares at $28. And the reason why that's so important is because now you can sell a $28 call or $28.50 call to that lower strike. And then you're targeting, it's like you have this I don't know, like gun with a scope on it, and you're targeting that particular lot. And I'm going to sell a call on that lot. I'm going to take in income. Then when that lot goes, it's going to go and I'm going to capitalize. I'm going to realize that gain. It's not a tax conversation. It's not about taxes. It's about making realized gains. And it's also about like managing your positions on an ongoing basis in an effective way. You cannot manage what you don't measure. You have to use tools like this in order to pay attention to what you have. Otherwise, how do you know if you're doing good or if you're not doing good? And there's no reason in the world for anyone, and hear me loud and clear in this, there's no reason for anybody, if you're trading options for income, like you're not some goofy buyer because you want to turn your 100 into 1,000, you're not a gambler, you're not buying options. But if you are here on this channel, that means you are a seller of options. Your intention is to create income. That's our motivation. That's it. My intention is to create income so I can live an amazing lifestyle and I can do what I want, when I want, with whoever I want, all the time. Basically, that's why I trade options. If that's why you're here, you have to have your account with a broker dealer that supports your ability to do that, right? So the past few days that we've talked about this, and I can't believe sometimes the comments that I read, the past few days that we've been talking about this, there are some broker dealers in which you cannot do that. Robinhood, as an example, as popular as they are, they have a cool name, they had some hype when they came out, and they're great, and they're probably great for a certain type of trader, right? So for example, I think this was like their initial target. Like, let's say I have $500 and I want to invest some money. I'm like 19 years old and I never invested in stocks before, that kind of thing. And I want to buy like 1 share of this or a half a share of this or whatever, like that kind of thing. And I don't want to use a laptop because maybe I don't even have a laptop, and I just want to do it easy peasy on my phone, right? I want to be like in psychology class at college, and I want to be able to buy 2 shares of Microsoft on my phone, right? Robinhood is a great fit. It's fantastic. That's great. Maybe. I mean, that's sort of like their target market, right? But if I'm a trader and I'm selling options and I want to create income for myself on a weekly basis and change my life, you should not be with Robinhood. You should not be with Moomoo. You should not be with Alpaca. And that's just a fact, because their platform does not enable you to be able to have different lots, right? And then sell a covered call to that particular lot. You can't do it. Why would I want to handcuff myself when I don't have to do that? Like, I don't understand. Like, there's no other easier way to say. I don't know any other easier way to say that. If you're selling options for income, you are using this strategy. You are selling a put on a good quality stock that you like. You're buying those shares if it goes down. You're selling a call once you buy those shares. And if that stock drops further, you're selling another put. So you will, at some point, accumulate multiple lots. You're going to have 100 shares at this price. You're going to have 100 shares at this price. And you will want to sell a call to that lower basis. Number one, you're going to make more money. Number two, you're not going to create a wash sale, which is important. And number three, you're just going to keep flipping your money inside out over and over and over again. So there's no other simpler way to say it. So Ryrome says, do you know if Fidelity does it? I think Fidelity does do it. So, and a lot of the broker dealers do it. The guys that got their shit together, I'll just say it like that, do that. Like Schwab, you have to call. You can't do it online, but you call, and that's fine. I work with Schwab. You do it on Monday. And Interactive Brokers, you can do it electronically online. Fidelity, I believe that you can do it as well. I don't know. Somebody said Tasty Trade, you cannot do it. I find that hard to believe. I think you can call them and do that. I think there's only, I don't know. I mean, personally, I've traded with maybe 7 or so plus or minus broker dealers in the past, 29 years. Some of them I've stayed extensively at, and some of them suck for different reasons. I'll give you another example. If you're using margin, you don't want to be trading with Tradeer, and that's a fact. And let me tell you why. And I don't want to get off scope here, but for example, you cannot see ahead of time before you put a trade in what the margin requirement on a position is. It's like they're handing you a blindfold and here you go, like Joe Trader, like try to trade and make some money, but you got a blindfold on. If I'm using margin, I want to see ahead of time what the margin requirement on that position will be. Like I use Schwab and I use margin. And for example, I can click a few things. I've shown you guys in the past. I'm not going to spend time doing it now, but I can see ahead of time before I sell a put. If I'm selling a naked put on Tesla, I'm going to see what the margin required is, because I want to know, does that fit with my account? And I don't want to be blind like when I'm trading. Trading can be hard. Like, there's a lot of things that you got to know. It can be simple. So it comes down to, two easy things. Sometimes I feel like I'm contradicting myself. So I don't intend to do that. That's not my intention, to be contradictory. But what I'm saying is, most people are unsuccessful trading. They just are. Like, most people lose money trading. Most people lose money in trading options, that kind of thing. So you want to set yourself up for success in the best way possible. And doing that, you have to be working with the right broker dealer. And if you're using margin, you can't work with a broker dealer. You shouldn't work with a broker dealer in which you can't see your margin requirement ahead of time. It's just what it is. So Thallium says, tagging specific lots. Finally stopped hearing you and listened. Tested it last night by previewing trades. Selling a call at cost basis was a $200 loss. Tagging a specific lot was a $280 gain. Thank you for unplugging me from the Matrix. I love that. First of all, I love the movie The Matrix. And so, listen, when we watch movies, I'm going to talk a little bit. I've been mixing some spirituality in here lately, some woo-woo stuff, right? The Matrix is interesting, and movies in general is interesting, because a lot of times I think movies are portraying things that, they're like fiction in the movie, right? Not true, but it has some fundamental truth to it. And the Matrix is a perfect example. Yeah, don't be plugged into the Matrix, brother. I love that. Fidelity, yes, you have to assign the lot before 9 p.m. Eastern on the day it settles. So all broker dealers will be a little bit different, right? So for example, Schwab, you have to do it before close on Monday. I think Interactive Brokers, you have to do it on Saturday through their platform. Everybody's a little bit different, but you have to, I can't, and sometimes things change as well. So I'm never going to be up here and I'm going to say, here's a Fidelity video and here's a Schwab video, and those things change. And you have to take responsibility. Like, whoever you're trading with, you call them and you ask them these questions. When do I have to allocate that lot? And as Thallium points out, why would you take a loss when you don't have to take a loss? I put up these couple videos over the last couple days about this. I did a video, the live stream, then I did a regular video. It's so important. So I'm glad that you guys are starting to understand that. I want to talk a little bit about paper trades. So let me talk about paper trading for a minute. I've never been a big believer in paper trading, and here's why. Paper trading doesn't really work well with any broker dealer, right? So a lot of the big broker dealers will have paper trading accounts to allow traders to practice, like, especially if you're new at options, right? Like you want to practice, make sure you get your feet wet, know what you're doing before you actually, put real money in, right? And there's some validity to that. There's a lot of validity to that. The problem with broker dealer paper trading, actually there's a bunch of problems, but one of them is when you put a trade in, like, you can't actually get filled on your paper account unless there's a matching corresponding trade, like in reality, right? So let's say I sell a put on, I don't know, SMCI. I'm just going to use that as an example. It's like a tech type company, and or let's say I'm selling a put on something that doesn't have a lot of volume, right? And the bid is $1, meaning I would get $100. Maybe the ask is $110, right, in premium. And in the real world, if I put an order in to sell it at the bid, it would fill, right? Because there's already buyers on the other side that are there to take the other side of that trade. But in a paper environment, it's only going to fill, even if you put an order in at the bid, it's only going to fill if there's an actual trade that prints, in reality. So that right there is a fundamental issue, right? Number one. Number two, a lot of paper accounts don't have the ability for assignments and things like that. So if I sell a put, I want to let's say that the stock comes down and I buy those shares. I want to be able to see that I'm buying those shares. I want to use a paper account as realistically as possible. That is really the intention when you're using a paper account, because otherwise, what's the point? Like, you want to learn, but you want to learn the right way. You don't want to learn the wrong way, because then you're like, you're doing yourself perhaps a little bit more bad than good, right? So that's number one. Number two, no paper account at any broker dealer gives you like the whole assistance, the whole teaching philosophy, right? So for example, in my app here, I have three main like pieces to that app, right? So there's my positions, right? So what positions do I have? Okay, I'm long 100 shares. Here's how much I paid for it. Here's how much it is now. Here's my unrealized gain loss. Here's my contracts. I'm short this put or I'm short this call. That's important, right? You have to pay attention to that. And then we have some other stuff like what's my account value? How much premium do I have open right now? Those sorts of things. So a lot of different things. That's important. And then I have like a very important page is realized gain loss, right? Like how much money have I made this week, this month, since I started? How does that split between tickers? Like where am I making the most money on what ticker, as an example, right? So I built these pages to what I want to see as a trader. That's what the main difference in this is, right? And if I'm using it, I might as well sell it to other people, because it's like, I don't know, it's really good. Why just hog it all myself, right? So this is important. So paper accounts at broker dealers don't have this content, this context, this data, this help as we're learning. And then I want to also see my my trades, right? What are my transactions? So usually like if I have a live account, let's say with Schwab or something like that, I can go into my transaction history and I can sort different ways and things like that. But usually with a paper account, I can't do that. And I want to be able to see that because I want to learn from that. The whole point of having a paper account is to practice and get good and get comfortable and confident so you can put money in the market. Because when you know what you're doing, trading, you will change your life beyond all like expectation. You will, I'm telling you, you can believe it or you cannot believe it. But when it clicks and you know what you're doing and you're making money week after week after week and you're changing your life, you're going to be like, man, this is life changing. When you're starting in a paper environment, you need to be able to understand how to do that. What do I look at? How do I understand all these things, right? Because it's confusing at first. It's like another language, right? So the trade journal is really important. So it's so interesting how things kind of like cause and effect and how things sort of evolve with the fact that, I realized Alpaca doesn't offer the ability to tag lots. Robinhood doesn't offer that ability. Moomoo is always emailing me, by the way. Hey, I saw your videos on YouTube. Can we sponsor you? We'll pay you X dollars and talk about us in your video and so they can grow their business, right? I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to recommend people that are good and that are appropriate for what you're doing. I mean, and in fairness, they might be great with other things. So in fairness, I'm not saying that these broker dealers suck in general. I'm not saying that. I'm saying for options trading, they absolutely suck, and you can believe it or not believe it. So let's go back to paper trading, right? So I realized that Alpaca, you can't like assign lots. So with that, I'm like, okay, well, how do I show an account then to users on my live stream? Like, where should I go from here? How does that work? I never show my real account because first of all, my real account like has my account number. I don't know how to do all that, like hiding the stuff at the top and also like there's some privacy, right? I have shown my real account like in groups and mentorship programs and things like that, but I'm not gonna do it on YouTube. It's like foolish, right? So how do I illustrate and how do I teach in the most effective manner? I'm not looking to waste my time because I don't make that much money on YouTube. I make like a couple $100 a month. I'm not doing it for that. I'm doing it like to start a movement, and I'm really passionate about my app that I've created. So that's why I'm here, right? And so while we're talking about paper trading, like if there's all these deficiencies, I feel like I'm a disruptor. Like when I look in the marketplace and I want to buy something and I don't see it, man, like why hasn't nobody created that before? I'm gonna create it for myself, right? So I started creating this paper trader platform, and I'm gonna open it. It's not open yet. So this is my app, by the way, that's live for everybody, and we have a bunch of users on this app. And there's a lot of functionality. You can sync your broker dealer, which is super cool. Lots and lots of things, scanners to find trades and such. This one piece, the paper trader, is not open yet. It'll be open in the next day or two, and then it'll push to all the users. And the advantage of this is that you can. The fills are going to be different. So I'm going to build my own logic for the fills. So let's go through an example. I want to look at Tesla just as an example. I want to pull up Tesla, right? Let's see. Right now I have my stuff working, so this might not actually allow me to do that. Give me 1 second. TSLA. Yeah, I think I can't do it because I'm doing some edits while I'm doing this. But let me walk you through it. So for example, I pull up Tesla, right? And I can see how much Tesla is trading for. I can see all the different options. I can most importantly, I can build it in the trade builder here. For example, I'm going to put Tesla in here, and I want to look at, I don't know, let's say August 10th. When is the 10th? I think the 7th is Friday, so the 10th might be Monday. So Tesla is one of those tickers that offer 3-day-a-week expirations. Let me look at the 10th, for example, right? So Tesla right now is 321, but let's look at, like, I don't know, a $300 put, just as an example. I can see exactly how much is it paying, how much capital do I have to put up, how many days do I hold it, and then I can send that trade to the paper account. So it like wraps up everything, and it makes it all like a very easy to like walk through all the different steps, right? So here's what Tesla is trading at. Here's the put that I'm looking at. I'm going to sell one put either at the market. I always sell contracts at a limit price. You can change the limit price here, and then you can send it to the paper account, and then it's going to show up here. So what I'm doing is I'm building something to help people learn before you put money in the market. And then I got this bright idea yesterday. I was like, I never like did a trading competition before, but what if, because these are paper accounts, what if we did a trading competition? How would that work? So I'm going to start that. We are going to start on, I think September 1st, but let me see what day that's on. That's on a Tuesday. We're going to start September 1st, a paper trading competition. I don't know exactly what we're going to call it yet, and I don't know exactly what the details are going to be, but it's going to be where people pay an entry fee, and then all that money that gets bundled for entry fees, that's paid out to like maybe the top 10 people. Like maybe the top person gets, I don't know, 50% of that, and then all the top 10, they all get some money. And the whole purpose, it's kind of cool because like you can win some money, which is kind of fun, and you know, brings users. But most importantly, it lets you learn, right? I think it's going to be 3 months. I haven't done all the details yet, but stay tuned for that because I'm gonna launch those details super soon. And the winner, by the way, is not going to be like who ends up with the biggest account value, because really that's not why we're trading options. We're trading options for income. And that's what this whole channel is about, driving income, creating weekly income. So the winner is going to be whoever has the most realized gain with, I mean, you can't start with, let's say, 100 grand and then end up with 30. So you can't do that at the expense of your principal. So I'm still working out the details, but stay tuned for that. It's going to be super amazing. And yeah, let me get to some questions. ET phone home. I can do the same cash secured put on Fidelity and E-Trade. Fidelity just sits there, never filled. I would think that they are manipulating the market. I'm not sure. What is it that you're talking about? Let's see. If you can elaborate on that, ET phone home. I don't know if you're talking about paper trading, because I'm not sure when you put this comment on here. Fidelity, yes, you have to sign the lot before 9 p.m. Eastern on the day it settles. I mean, the way trades are filled, And this is kind of important. So trades are filled on different markets, right? And so you will see a difference between, let's say, filling a trade on E-Trade versus Fidelity versus Interactive Brokers. Some broker dealers have PFOF, which is like pay for order flow, I think it's called, or something like that. Like Robinhood has PFOF, and there's a lot of like revenue sharing amongst one another. So people think like zero commissions, like they're not making money. Like that's, of course they're making money. Like, what do you think? They're charging zero commissions. They're making money somewhere else that you don't see it. And a lot of times it's in that spread. Let's say when you sell a contract, buy stock, that sort of thing. So I'm not sure exactly what you were referring to, ET Phone Home. Let's see. So does this kind of stuff make sense? Who's interested in joining a paper trading competition? Who's interested in doing that? Send some hearts up. Let me know in the chat. I think it's an amazing idea because I think it's very teachable. It's a very teachable concept, right? You get a bunch of people together, and they're all paper accounts, so nobody cares about showing their real how much money they have or don't have, or their account number or whatever. And it's all kind of like paper money, right? But it's learning the skills and kind of walking through those processes. And all of my stuff here, like the earnings edge as an example, that is like by far my favorite part of the app. I can scan the marketplace for like all the John Beastcraft says, I think you're amazing. I thank you. I appreciate that. I feel pretty fucking amazing sometimes, I have to say. I just feel like, man, when I see all these things like not good, I just say, man, I could do a better job, and let me do that. And so yeah, so I appreciate you saying that. I don't know what to say from that. So anyway, the earnings edge is let's look at all the tickers in the next 14 days that have earnings coming up, and how great is that? And here's why it's great: because when earnings is coming up, the volatility is higher, so our premium is higher. We're getting paid. It's like we get a pay raise, right? We get a pay raise prior to earnings, but we have to be careful because we don't want to lose our money, right? So we have to understand kind of like, okay, earnings is coming up, so it's volatile. Maybe it goes up a lot, maybe it goes down a lot. We have to understand where is it likely to go up or down. Most specifically, if you're selling puts, your main concern is, what's the likelihood if it goes down to what level, how much? So we can use this platform, like let's look at rocket companies, for example. It's a super cheap stock, $13, right? So the market is expecting that it's going to go 8%, 8.15, maybe up, maybe down, who knows, right? So if I sell a put, I want to go underneath that 8.15 mark. And this helps us understand, okay, here's a good idea. Now you got to use your own due diligence, right? Do you agree with it, disagree with it? You choose to make that trade. But this gives you like the foundation. Okay, here's a cool idea. Sell the August 7th, $12.50 put, you make $12, which doesn't sound like a lot of money, but you're only putting up $1,250. So your annualized rate of return, assuming that put expires worthless, 175%, bro. And then if that does go down and you have to buy the shares, that's cool too. There's no failure in options. The only failure is when you make goofy decisions like roll your put or roll your call. That's a failure in my view. You can agree or disagree, and we can have differing opinions on that. Or a failure is, hey, I bought some stock and it went down and I freaked out and I sold it and I took a loss. That's a failure. Other than that, there's no failure in options. If I sell a put and it doesn't go down, it stays where it is or it goes up, that's cool. I keep the premium. I don't buy the shares. All good. I sell another put Monday, whatever. And if it does go down, okay, that's cool too. Like, I like that ticker. I like that price. I'm going to buy those shares. And then I'm going to sell a covered call against those shares on Monday and take in money again. So there's no failure, right? And so this lets you just push that to the paper account. So man, this does not exist anywhere. Like, you know what makes me feel amazing? I'll tell you, John, is that, here's why I feel amazing. Because like I'm creating these things that I would love to pay somebody else that to buy, right? So I've been trading a long time, 29 years. And for a long time I was using like spreadsheets, like this spreadsheet doing this spreadsheet doing that. It gets kind of messy and whatever. And it's not that efficient either. And I would Google things. Hey, I want to find this. Where is it? Where can I find a tool in the marketplace that helps me understand margin and tells me when I would incur a margin call, as an example. Oh, it's nowhere. It's nowhere to be found. And paper accounts at broker dealers, they suck. They're trying to teach new traders. Why are you giving them a shitty platform to teach new traders? You can't teach somebody. It's like if I'm teaching a class at school and I'm using like books that are 100 years old and maybe they got some mistakes in it, it's not going to teach them good. I need like proper books. I need to give out pencils to students. Like you need the proper tools in order to teach people in the best way possible. And so that's why I'm super excited and I do feel amazing. Thank you for saying that. For having created this kind of stuff. All right, William says, Schwab allows you to assign lots, but only on their main website or by phone. Last I knew, you couldn't do it on their website. I know that they were building something that they were supposed to be opening back up. I don't think that's been released yet, but you can call them on the phone and say, hey, I had this $50 call get assigned on Friday, and I want to assign those. I want to tag those shares to the 100 shares that I bought on, July 7th that I paid $49.82 for. So you would call them. And then you would also double check the next day. That's super important because a lot of broker dealers, they make mistakes. And a lot of times also like that work might be, outsourced and things like that. Sometimes things fall through the cracks. So you do have to double check your positions after they say that they made that change in the lot election. Michelle said, yes, she is incredible. I have the best community, man. I have this new WhatsApp group for app subscribers. So like there's only a handful of people in there right now. And then every morning I bring my daughter to work, usually in the morning time. And then on the drive home, I just I've been recording myself 5-minute talk on, options trading, something that helpful that pops into my head. Listen, I just think it's good when people share like good things, the world is generally good, right? And when people share like amazing things, it makes for everybody like happier. And everything is kind of like I said before, cause and effect. There's no what's the word? That's a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidence. I think that's a made-up concept. I don't think coincidence is a real thing at all. Everything is cause and effect. And I don't know. Like first of all, when I help people and when I talk good and I'm smart and I'm talking about things that I'm passionate about, it makes me feel good and it helps other people. It's kind of like that cycle. So yeah, Ryrome says, I sold a cash secured put on Google earlier today with a strike price of $362.50. The delta was 18, expires August 14th. Google got some bad news and it's now around $391.50, so I might get assigned. Do I wait till next week to do another? So I don't know what you mean by do another. Do you mean sell another put? So you want to be really careful on position sizing. That's why this contest is going to be amazing. I'm still planning the details, but the way I envision it is like everybody's in this contest, and then we have like these group calls, and we share our screen, and then we can kind of walk through it like step by step. It's a little bit easier than kind of like on a live stream like this. So stay tuned for that. But I think what you're asking is, should I sell another put? You want to be careful on position size. So Google, like if it's you sold a $362.50 put, so you're committing $36,000. You want to be able to like leg in 3 times generally, and you only want that position to be maybe like 20% of your account value, right? Because you want to have like maybe 5 different things. So Google's just one of them as an example. Usually you don't sell another put until you get assigned. A lot can happen also. Like I'm not sure why you did a August 14th. That's like 5 weeks away. I'm not a big believer in that kind of stuff. Man, a lot can happen in 2, 3, 5 weeks. I think, especially when you calculate your rate of return, like if you calculate your rate of return here, you're gonna make more money for the risk that you're taking when you trade weekly, and you're not gonna have that extended risk, and you're gonna create income every week. So I think it, I would say like in a teachable way, not a digging you way, not like a negative thing, right, Rome? But I think you made the wrong choice to start with. Like August 14th, I think is too far away. And I certainly wouldn't do another now. I would wait. And you don't want to freak out and buy your put back. I mean, first of all, when you sell a put, you got to identify a couple of things. Number one, Google. Okay, is that a solid stock? I like that stock. They are. Google is like a powerhouse, right? They're not going to go bankrupt or anything, I don't think. And then the second thing is you got to ask yourself, am I okay buying those shares at 362, right? So that's kind of an important thing. Let me just take a quick peek at their chart. I'm just going to look here. Google. I got too many things in here. GOOG. Yeah, I mean, they dropped a little bit, but that happens. Like it's not like they gap down significantly. You got to anticipate things like that. So usually we start with the wrong trade initially, and that's where our mistake is. I'm telling you, join the paper trading competition. You're going to learn a ton of things, and get the app. We have office hours every Saturday morning at 9:00. Office hours are amazing. Usually they're an hour. Last Saturday we went 2 hours because a lot of people had really good questions. And man, I should put up some testimonials because I know you guys are always hearing me say things, but I should put up like actual things that people say on video, on in print, that kind of thing. And then you'd understand, I think, a little bit more. ET Phone Home says live account Fidelity cash secured put never gets filled, but E-Trade gets filled. Once E-Trade filled, I cancel Fidelity trade sitting there. Why are you trading with two different brokers though? I wouldn't do that. I think that's confusing. You want to make things as easy as possible, right? So you want to make trading as seamless and easy, and there's only a handful of things that you do on a regular basis in order to be successful. I don't think I've ever traded. I've had different accounts before. Like I've had, I don't know, like an individual account, a corporate account, maybe a retirement account here and there, although I don't really do many retirement accounts. So I've had different account types. But usually, and I've traded with different broker dealers, but usually not at the same time. Like I don't want to have an account with Fidelity and an account somewhere else. I'm not sure why you want to do that. I don't think Fidelity's that good. I think Fidelity is mostly known for like mutual funds, that kind of thing. They offer options trading, but I don't think that they're that good. That's my opinion, E-Trade, I've used E-Trade a long time ago. I'm not using them now, and they were actually pretty good. ET Phone Home, I am interested. You guys got to be on my Inner Circle page. So if you go to my website, just go to like Cresivo.com. Inner Circle is here, and this is where you put your email in, and it's free. You don't have to pay. And then when I plan stuff, I'm going to send you guys, I send these people an email first. I mean, I talk about it on YouTube as well, but I also send it here. So make sure you're on that if you're not already on there. Your YouTube paper trading is an inspiration to all. It's going to be off the fucking hook. I promise you. It's going to be off the hook. I'm a big believer, like, I'm going to go big or go home. I'm a big believer, like, sometimes people talk about like improving. I'm going to give you an example. I like to use examples like to tie it into like analogies and things. I go to the gym every morning and I go to CrossFit. And I love CrossFit. I love it. I like weights and cardio and different things. And it's just like, it helps keep me fit. I feel good. It's good. But I'll tell you, I really am bad at snatches. Who knows what a snatch is? It's like, I don't know, with the barbell over your head and and then sometimes you could do squat snatches, right? I'm not good. So I think maybe it's my mobility with my arms up and you got this heavy bar and you're squatting. It's not good. And so the coach said the other day, actually it happened, you got to work on the things that you're not good at. And I said, you know, people do say that. I mean, there's a little bit of perhaps validity to that, but I take the opposite view of that. I don't want to work on my deficiencies. I'd rather focus on my strengths. And so my strength is trading. My strength now is creating an app that helps my job be better, like to be able to trade and be more efficient and pay attention to things and see what my realized gain loss is and be able to like sort things and find better trades and using AI to help me find better trades, like that kind of thing. I don't want to focus on my deficiencies, because focusing on my deficiencies, those things are still going to be deficient. I'm always going to suck at snatches. I don't like them. I'm not good at them. And I don't want to practice them. I would rather practice something that I am good at and then get better at that. So yeah, anyway, there's that. Rocky Barker says, I stumbled upon your page 3 weeks ago. I attempted to learn about options by reading Options for Dummies. I totally did not get it. I'm blown away how much I've grasped from your teaching. Well done. Thank you, Rocky. I'm not paying any of these people to say this, by the way. It makes me feel good. I appreciate that. Listen, I've been doing it for a really long time, and I also try to explain it in an easy way to understand way, right? I was talking to somebody this morning, one of my mentees, and she mentioned a friend of hers when we were talking about like other YouTubers. Here's a big difference, and I want to talk briefly about this, and then I'm going to get to some other questions as well, but it's important to understand if you're listening to somebody, and me too, like I want you to like try to understand, like, should you listen to me? Should you not listen to me? Hey man, I'm not a guru. I'm just like a regular person. But I do know a lot of stuff, and I am really good at this, I can tell you. But I want you to make your own decision, is what my point is, right? There's a lot of people on YouTube that are on YouTube because that's their thing. They're making money from YouTube. And so they're YouTubers primarily, making money from YouTube. And now they're kind of like secondarily traders. I'm the opposite. I have always been a trader since I was 24. 1997 is when I started trading, and I think that was 29 years ago. Yeah, I used to say 30, but that was kind of an exaggeration. So now I'm precise, 29 years ago. And so I'm a trader who started doing YouTube. And I don't make a lot of money from YouTube. I mean, I'll show you guys. Let me show you. So here's like the live streams. I mean, I spend a lot of time, and I teach a lot of like really good stuff. So look at the revenue, estimated revenue, $1.99, $5.43, $3.44. So listen, I'm not here online to teach you to get paid, because YouTube doesn't pay that much. So understand that if you're watching other people's YouTube, because there's a lot of people on YouTube that talk about options that have absolutely no idea what they're talking about. They clearly, based on what they say, they clearly are not experienced, or maybe they've done it for a couple years, and while the market's up, anybody can make money when the market's up. So you want to keep that in mind. A lot can even happen in 1 week. Yeah, for sure. ET phone home. So I wouldn't sell a put. Let me hop off of that page. I wouldn't sell a put 5 weeks out, 6 weeks out. I think it's too long. I think 1 week, 10 days, 2 weeks tops is usually what I do. And I never, ever, ever sell a contract without calculating your annualized rate of return. And you would do that here. How many pull-ups can you do? Man, I have a hard time doing pull-ups. I used to be able to do muscle-ups pretty good, but I kind of suck at those too. I'm not and usually with pull-ups I use bands. So I'm not really good. When I go to the gym, I'm like, it's me against me. I don't care about other people. I scale stuff, and I just feel good about going, and it makes me feel good. That's funny. Are you a CrossFitter, Rhyme? CrossFit is good. I was boxing for a while. When I was living in New York City, I was going to a boxing gym in Tribeca, and it was close to my apartment, so I would walk there. And it was amazing. There's something with like hitting the mitts. Oh my gosh, it made me feel so good. I haven't done it recently. So it's been about, a year or so. So I try to cycle CrossFit, boxing, that kind of thing. We are the niche. That's kind of a cool... YouTube name. I usually buy contracts. Why are you buying any contracts, bro? You're on the wrong you're on the wrong channel if you're buying contracts. You got to be selling contracts. We are sellers of options, not buyers. Maybe you typed it wrong. I'm not sure, but we are selling contracts. We are not buying anything. I usually buy contracts 30 to 50 days out. Never considered weeklies. I've been watching and may give it a go. I like the idea of not keeping your capital locked up for long periods of time. Yeah, for sure. Like, why would you want to lock up your capital? Like if there's a great opportunity next week, I want to have some dry powder, they call it, fresh powder, something like that. That kind of thing. I want to have cash on the side in order to put money in. Plus, there's so many different reasons, not just that, but I want to create income every week. I want to go do cool stuff, and I want to pay for it with money that I make trading, right? Rome, I used to do CrossFit. You were making me think about getting back into it. Yeah, I think people either are like really pro CrossFit or really turned off by CrossFit. I like it. I don't know. I've been doing CrossFit for, I don't know. I think like 2017, maybe like 9 years. I started like 7 days a week. And I did that for like 2 years actually. And then now I do 5 days a week. So yeah, it feels good. So we are the niche. That's what I meant, sell. So that's good. So you're selling contracts, not buying contracts. Bravo. So you got that going. And yeah, just give it a go. Listen, a lot of people think like, they talk about, especially on other channels, 4 to 6 weeks is like this sweet spot. Mathematically, you make more money. I think weekly is better. And I think it's for all the reasons that we already talked about. Jeanette says, hey, Michelle, started using your app this week. Help. Oh, that's funny. So I sold a put on Cypher at 24.50. It went down, so I sold another today at 18.50. And Trade Builder says annualized return is 230%. Expiration 8/14. You don't only want to. Well, a couple things with that comment. So first of all, thanks for being an app subscriber and thanks for jumping in. There's a couple ways that you can use the app. You can just use the app for finding trades, like figuring things out, or you can connect your broker dealer. Like that's really the best way. So you do that in the settings page on the bottom, no matter who you're with. You do that here, you connect a brokerage. And the advantage of that is like it feeds over automatically. It's read only. There's no like, you can't make any trades or anything like that. No password saved or anything. But you want to be able to sync that for a couple reasons. Number one, every so often I go through, I can like impersonate and like check out people's accounts, just view only. And then I will send them a message sometimes. And at some point I will be building functionality that sends an automatic notification in the app that helps people more. Like for example, I don't know, I had a user recently who bought 23 contracts of something. He had 2,300 shares of a ticker, and he bought 23 calls instead of selling 23 calls. He didn't realize it, but I happened to notice it in the app, and I sent him a message. So that's the advantage of syncing that up. And secondly, you don't only want to look at rate of return. Like you want to look at rate of return for sure, but you don't want to pull up a trade and say, oh my gosh, I'm making 200% on that trade. Let me hit the trade button. You really don't want to do that. You want to understand, do I like the stock? Does it fit in my account? Do I have more cash to sell another put if it goes down? I'm not sure what help you're looking for, other than the fact that you did a trade and it's down money. I'm not sure what else you might be wondering. Also, every Saturday morning we do office hours. 9 o'clock in the morning is free for app users. 9 in the morning Pacific. So come hang out in office hours and we can kind of go over that as well. If your account is synced, I can take a look at it afterward. Ryrome says, oh, Jeanette, you're with Robinhood. Man, run away from Robinhood. What are you doing? I would, I don't know. You're a grown up, I presume. You got to make your own decisions. If you want to be serious about trading and you want to trade for income, and you're paying for the app $100 a month, so I assume you're serious. You don't want to be with Robinhood. I would just change to somebody else. And if you want to send me an email after offline, we can chat about that. Also, I added something in the, on your, you might not see it because I think you only see it in the realized gain loss. But I added kind of like a banner that says something about like, hey, you want a 15-minute free call or something? You can book that and I can walk through that with you. Whatever you're talking about, your cipher position. But I think you're only going to see that if you have your stuff connected. You can connect Robinhood, by the way, but they're just not a good broker-dealer because you can't specify lots like we've talked about. ET Phone Home, one of my stock moves $20 to $40 per day, trying to get rid of it. So I can do a cash secured put at a lower strike on the underlying. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. One of my stocks moves, trying to get rid of it. I mean, here's like the most simplistic way of thinking about trading. Think of one ticker, sell a put, right? And make sure that the strike price is the price at which you're okay buying those shares. If it goes down, you sell a call against it. If it goes down more, you sell another put. You got to keep cash on the side to sell another put. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they go too big. They have too many tickers and they go too big. They got too many positions, too many contracts, too many. So I always think less is more and always err on the side of being conservative. It's easy to make money, harder not to lose it. So yeah, there's that. If selling puts and covered calls is your go-to strategy, what's a reasonable % on an account per week? For example, if I want to aim for $3,000 a week, should I strive to build my account to $600,000? Good question. That's a really good question. A lot of people ask that. I always say, on average, you want to anticipate making like 30% per year. Annualized, and then you make weekly money. So let's say if you had $600,000 times 30%. Now this is an average. It might be more or less, right? So this is 180K, right? So divided by 52. So 600K would get you about $3,500 per week, like pretty consistently, pretty conservatively. I was working with somebody this morning that was making 70%, not even using margin, 70% annualized. So let's say if you had 600,000 times 70%. Again, it could be more, it could be less. Divided by 52. I mean, now you're looking at like 8K. So, and it depends on lots of different factors. And the most important being that don't take realized losses, only trade tickers you're solid with. Make sure that your positions are appropriate to the size of your account. Buy more shares when it goes down. I like to trade in high implied volatility. 60% is like the sweet spot. I'm going to be planning a live event. I started putting those details together yesterday. Who here would be interested in going to a live event? I haven't done one in a while because I feel like a lot of time, I think these live streams have a lot of value, but I feel like sometimes I'm like flipping, like kind of chopping all over the place with great information, but lots of information. And I think live events are really good because we can start from the beginning and walk through that whole journey of, here's how you do it step by step. So that's going to be coming soon. Again, make sure you're in the inner circle so I can let you know. And then, so you don't miss out, right? Let's see. One advantage of Fidelity is that it pays interest on the cash secured position. I don't think Schwab does. Other people have brought that up before. I don't pay attention to such things. I'll be honest with you. I don't pay attention to transaction charges. They're all kind of in the same neighborhood. Maybe this broker-dealer charges $1. Maybe this broker-dealer charges 50 cents. I think in the grand scheme of things, it's not that important. What's important for me is customer service. If I have a problem and I want to call somebody, I want to talk to somebody. And preferably, I want to talk to somebody who's here in the country so I can understand them better. Like this is not a dig for anybody, but I want, I prefer stuff not being outsourced. I want to talk to somebody here. So that is important to me. Also, can I call people like just until 5 o'clock or can I call people 24/7? What type of data is on their platform? That's important to me. as far as like money market rates or whatever, I don't know. I think those are kind of pennies. I don't think that that's important. So that might be accurate, that Schwab does that, but I don't pay attention to that stuff, honestly. Jeanette would love live event. Pay attention, Jeanette, because it's coming. I'll send an email once I plan that. What I'm thinking is like Saturday and Sunday, like 2 hours Saturday, 2 hours Sunday. And, live events are really great because, again, it starts from the beginning, kind of goes through the whole step-by-step, live Q&A, small groups. It's going to be good. And then also, like, people can, instead of like here on YouTube, somebody puts a question in the chat. But in a live event, like, you can just ask, right? So it's a little bit easier, like ask verbally. Michael says, question, in your opinion, how much money can consistently be made selling weekly options with a 215K account with average experience using good quality stock? Does 500 to 1,000 weekly sound realistic? I think 30% annualized is a good sort of, initial like metric. So 215, I just do the math. 215 times 30%, and then 0.3 divided by 52, like $1,200 a week. Yeah, like rockstar. Consider my mentorship. So send me an email, or you can go to my website. If you go here and you go, this is my website, mentorship, one-on-one mentorship. That's specific, really. I mean, I've had some mentees before with under 100,000, but for people that have over 100,000, it is like a no-brainer. Like, if you're really looking to make money and you're looking to learn from somebody who has done it, is doing it, is really good at it. I can't predict the market, of course, but I know my shit. I'll say it like that. And all the mentorship programs, like, I've never had anybody like not like get multiples of their investment back in gains, because what I'm going to do is not teach you like, hey, not tell you like, hey, do this trade, or hey, do that, trade that ticker or whatever. I'm going to teach you the process and hold your hand throughout, and watch that together, like, and explain to you exactly why you look at this, why you do that. Here's what you can do. Here's the advantage. Here's the disadvantage. So I would highly encourage anybody who's got over 100,000, especially if you're not happy with what you got, you're not sure, hey, if the market dips. Again, I want to say this clearly. Anybody can make money if the market's going up. So easy. So easy. But when the market goes down, like, that's when you can, lose your shirt. And, it's important to know what you're doing, and that only comes from experience. And oftentimes you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So yeah. Nikki said, would like to see you in person. Definitely. Listen, I've had a mentee before. I've had a couple mentees from LA, although most of them come from online. If you're in LA, I'm happy to meet up in person. Maybe a few years ago, I had like an options kind of event. I've done a few of those over the past few years. I had a mentee that lived in LA that we used to do sessions sometimes in LA. So that was kind of cool. Yeah. I don't know if you're in LA as well. I'm not sure where you are. Anyway, let's see. What time is it? I always plan on doing 30 minutes at these sessions, and they always go an hour. Always. I'm going to jet because I got to finish this. I'm working on this paper trading stuff right here. My little Claude friend over here is doing some programming for me. And I want to put that live event together, and I'm going to put together this paper trading competition. It's going to be off the hook. So yeah, there's that. And check out the app, man. There's 7 days for free. So people that don't have the app yet, man, you're missing out, because not only do you find trades, but it helps you manage your trades, and that's the most important thing. So I want to say thank you. Thank you. Let's see. Jeanette says, if you sell a covered call and the stock goes up, do I buy to close, then sell another put? I'm freaking out, worrying I'm missing out on the upside. You should book a 15-minute call, Jeanette, because you got like a lot of good questions, and you need help like rewiring your brain. Nobody should ever be freaking out. When you sell a covered call and your stock goes up, that is a win. Nobody should ever be freaking out. Pigs get slaughtered in the marketplace. You cannot have the thought process of, man, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't sell that call, and if I would have made more money. You will not be successful if that's the attitude that you trade with. You just won't. You have to. I mean, if you're trading for income, you're focusing on the premium. And so who cares if your call gets assigned? That's a win. You sell your shares, you made the premium, you can get back in and sell another put. I encourage you, listen, there's a lot of stuff that I talk about on these live streams, and they're totally valuable. But for those of you who are serious, who want to make money, book a call with me. Like first of all, initially it's free. That was like the ding, 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 the market's closing. But go here. You can this gives you a little bit of info, and then it kind of walks through some questions, to see if it would be a good fit. And then it sends me an email, and generally I reach out. We kind of chit chat back and forth with email. If it sounds like it's going to be a good fit, we have a Zoom and introduce each other, and go from there. Because if you're serious, I've never been successful at anything without having a mentor, right? Trading I have been. I've been doing it for a long time, 29 years. But other things, I don't know, let's say my daughter used to play soccer, and the coach did a lot of things. It's important to have somebody helping you, because otherwise you just fumbling along and watching some random stuff here or there and kind of piecing it together. Usually that's not really the best thing. So just just inquire. And I always say inquiring first, and then maybe it's not a fit, and it's all good, right? But at least get the information to make an educated decision. That's kind of how I look at it. Anyway, I got a jet because it's late now. It's 1 o'clock, and I got stuff to do. I want to say thank you for being here, man. You're here, and pat yourself on the back, because a lot of people, for some reason, they don't learn about options. And how cool is it that you are in the right place at the right time? So thank you for watching. Check out the app. Stay tuned for more on the paper trading module and the paper trading competition and the live event. Cool thing is always in the works. And make sure that in the inner circle so you hear about those. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 12 o'clock, same time. Happy trading. Cheers for now.